We are currently streaming. So we'll start in another 1 minute time frame. Okay. Hi, everyone. Uh, First of all, thank you for joining. I am Recruiter panel discussions. So we are almost at the time. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first roundtable discussions hosted by I am Recruiter. Today, our focus is on mastering the art of resume writing. As a talent acquisition professional, we are trends reviewing hundreds to thousands of resumes every day. Our goal today is to give a deeper understanding of what we look for in a resume, share tips on how you can make yours stand out. Let me introduce you to I'm Recruiter, the world's first global community exclusively for TA professionals. We are a safe space where TA experts from various background regions can come together to share insights, ideas. Though we are small at the moment, we have a big dreams. We are here to support TA practitioners in expressing their thoughts and emotions freely and provide opportunity for learning from esteemed leaders through chats, comments, podcast, discussions, and roundtable. Today is a significant day for us as we honored to have some of the best talent acquisition experts and industry leaders with us. They have generously taken out time of their busy schedule to support our community and offer guidance to job seekers on resume writing. In the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Let's embark on the journey together, empowering each other to excel in the world of talent acquisition. I also would like to extend our gratitude to our partners, Tidy Hire, Param.ai, Getlista, Join Group, for their support and promoting us in this journey. And thanks to our backstage team. And a warm welcome to all our esteemed panelists and our audience. So, in our panelists today, we have Shravani, we have Kingsley, we have Samista, we have Ravela, Rini, Kiran, Achal, Anusha, Rakesh, and Shorupa. So, why don't you quickly introduce yourself? We can start from Achal.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Praful, for bringing us together on this. I think the topic is very, very interesting, and I'm sure it will be very useful to most of our audience. I hope we can contribute the best to this discussion. Talking about my introduction, my name is Aanchal. I have about 17 years of industry experience. I have been in talent acquisition all 17 years, and I have worked with companies like Nokia, Philips, IBM, Cognizant, and currently I'm with a company called Synchron, which is a product company. Um, yeah, my expertise completely lies into talent acquisition, and I don't just hire for India, I hire across the region, especially EMEA and Japan as well. Thank you so much, and welcome everyone. And we'll catch. I mean, hope to interact with you all soon.
Shravani, if you can go next.
Sure. Thanks, Prafulla. Hey, everyone. Shravani this side. I am from Join Group. So, introducing myself, firstly, I live in Bangalore. It's been 10 years I've been in Bangalore. I do have 10 years of experience into end-to-end recruitment, and I've been into consulting background since the day one. And I've been in Zoin Group. It's been 7 years now, right? And my journey started in Zoin as a senior talent acquisition, where I was, working as a recruiter, looking after end-to-end recruitment, helping Zoin. Right now, I am AVPTA, whereby I do and lead and represent the services entity, Services Center of Excellence in Zoin. It has been a wonderful journey so far because in Zoin, especially, I would say, because I have not worked with a lot of organizations. Zoin being my second organization, I have learned a lot from a recruiter to a leader right now. And what an opportunity we have today. Firstly, thanks, Prafulla, for hosting this show. And I'm a recruiter for organizing this. I'm sure I'm looking forward to this insightful discussion. And we, all of us being a leader, I'm sure there's more to learn from each other as well. So yeah, great. Thanks for giving this opportunity, Prafulla. Looking forward to it.
Kingsley, if you can go next.
Hi everyone. Hello to the audience. My name is Kingsley. I have close to about 20 years of experience. I started as a recruiter. I'm always a recruiter, but currently I'm heading HR and the entire function as such. Uh, I was with the Arvindo Group for more than close to about 14 years as such. I was instrumental in setting up their Arvindo Realty, in Hyderabad, right from a 5 member team to a 5,000 member team in about 5 years as such. Uh, so talent acquisition is very close to my heart, and that's how I've started, and I will never forget those roots. And I'm sure I'll be able to also listen to my fellow panelists, their views and all that. It will be a great learning experience. And hi there, Kiran. I mean, I'm seeing you after a long time. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Swarupa, you want to go next? Uh, Swarupa, we can't hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So this is Swarupa. I come with 11 years of experience in a tech recruitment part of it. And I have worked with companies like Philips, Intuit, Target, and Equinix. And really, thank you so much, Praful, to bringing this up so that we can also contribute to the community. And this topic is really important, and it can help a lot of job seekers and a lot of people whom they really want to get into the dream jobs. Thank you so much for bringing this up.
Kiran, can you go next?
Yeah, very good afternoon, everyone. Wonderful to see you all this afternoon, and thank you so much, Profula, for bringing up this topic. I think this is very essential for everyone, right from freshers to all the experienced folks on writing resume. And there's no formula as such, but yeah, that's a great topic to pick up. Uh, so, for me, I have been in Hyderabad, born and brought up from Hyderabad, and I've been in the industry of recruitment since 17 years. Have both experience in US and India hiring, and I have worked with companies like Liquid Hub, Winwire, Signity, and Deloitte in India hiring. So, looking forward to hear more from you all. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Nadim, we are just trying to do a quick introduction. If you can quickly introduce yourself.
Hey, good afternoon, friends. My name is Nadeem Pasha. I head the talent acquisition function at RoboSoft. I'm extremely excited to see a bunch of passionate recruiters joining this conversation. So, I carry 2 decades of work experience with RoboSoft. Exactly, I have completed 3 years today. So, it's my third year anniversary. Prior to RoboSoft, I have worked with organizations like Oracle, Huawei Technologies, Mindtree, Inspiraj, Allegis, right? So, some of these places I have worked. So I'm a passionate recruiter. So I always feel I'm a born recruiter. So that instinct of recruitment is always there in me. So I look forward for the wonderful conversation and hearing out from all of you. So all the best to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nadim, and congratulations on your third year with Robosoft.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
Rakesh, can you go next?
Yes. So first of all, thank you very much, Praful, for setting up this wonderful platform to share our experience and also to interact with a bunch of folks. So this is Rakesh Mangla. I got around 7 years of experience in tech recruiting. Currently working with Splunk Hyderabad as a technical recruiter. And prior to this, I worked with Microsoft, Oracle, and TA Digital. And I actually hail from the city of Pearls, Hyderabad. So looking forward for the discussion.
Thank you. Hey, Rini, can you go next?
Hi everyone. Firstly, thanks Profil for hosting us and for bringing all of us onto this platform. And so I carry 10 years of experience and currently I'm employed with Tide.co as a fintech organization. And prior to that, I've been part of PaySafe, Pegasystems, Gainsight. So my most of my experience was into the product-based organizations and starting from the inception phase where I got an opportunity to scale up the teams and glad I'm able to share the stage with all the TA leaders and my fellow colleagues. So looking forward for this session.
Thank you. Anusha, can you go next?
Yeah, sure. Hey, hello everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you for having me here, Praful. It is a wonderful platform. I'm looking forward to have this conversation contribute and also see if there are any new learnings from my fellow mates. And speaking about me, I've got 10 plus years experience into talent acquisition. It's diversified with 2 years into US hiring initially, and then for last 8 years into domestic technical talent. And my core is been into engineering, product, and information security hiring. And I'm from Hyderabad, and I currently am working with Phenom. That's it about me.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward. Thank you.
Hey, Sir Mister, can you go next and quickly introduce?
Sure, Praful. Hi, everyone, and thanks, Praful, for arranging such a wonderful topic and bringing us all into a single platform. Looking ahead to hear from my fellow panelists, to understand, to learn from them, and talk about like whatever viewpoints that we are having. Yeah, talking about myself, I come with around like 17 years of work experience, totally into recruitment. I'm a recruiter by heart. Talking about it, I have been working in greenfield project, like setting up the offices, taking care of the recruitment for their domestic as well as international. And apart from recruitment, I am also involved, like I take care of special projects like diversity hiring, AI in recruitment. So those are my like key skills and my interest areas.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So moving to our next topic, which is on the questions and answer session, right? Panel discussion. So we have a very interesting topic, which is again related to close to my heart. We all know resume writing sometimes can be very tough, and mainly in current scenario where there are lots and lots of different AI tools all around. Everyone is suggesting different formats, different tools to use. So we thought of hearing directly from the recruiters, directly from the leaders, what you think of what will be the right format, right? So we are jumping on to the first question. So the first question is, what are the top qualities or elements? What are the top qualities or elements that recruiters look for in a resume, especially in today's competitive journey? And this question I would ask Avani and Kingsley. Anyone can go first.
Sure, I'll go
Maybe
ahead.
ladies first. Yeah.
Yep, thank you. So firstly, I would say before I could even answer, I think this is a very important question, important topic, where every other candidate as well as a recruiter would want to know. And to talk about the elements or the qualities, there are a lot to talk about actually, but just to sum it up or give a highlight on what I think a right resume can be to approach or to share it with a recruiter. First is presentation, and this input I think has been from my experience throughout. And even now, there have been few observations while we work on a daily basis as recruiters. So the first highlight from my end would be presentation. Presentation has been not on the top since the time at least I've been in recruitment. Even today, we find a lot of resumes where we don't see it well organized, we don't see it well formatted. It is as simple as when we receive an email, would we want to read that email completely if it is not well formatted or not well written? At least I don't. So whenever we open a resume, the first thing, the first glance, what we have is on the presentation, how well it is presented to us. That's one thing. Second is skills and expertise. That is very, very common that the recruiters, that the candidates should highlight all the skills and expertise they have throughout their career. And also he or she, if knows what skills are trending in the market, if they are able to highlight that in their resume, that makes a lot of sense, because we consider that as a huge added advantage when we share this with our hiring managers. The third point was be keywords. Of course, keywords plays the most important role. I would not say keywords is the only way to judge a candidate, but that's definitely the first step to judge a candidate, decide whether this candidate would be a right fit to the role or not. My only suggestion would be that highlighting the skills, expertise, the technologies the candidate got to work on. Now, the only reason we want this to be done by the candidates is first because recruiters are the only ones who talk to the candidates. The hiring managers don't really get to talk to the candidates. So the hiring managers has the only one way to know how the candidate is through the resumes. And when it is not well written, it is not well communicated, I don't think, and that there is, I mean, we see a lot of rejections in the screening level itself, and the major reason is because things are not highlighted properly. And the last thing is achievements or any accomplishments, which say a certification or anything which a candidate has achieved throughout their career, that has to be highlighted in the resume. Just the motive is you need to communicate with the recruiter, stating that this is what I carry all throughout my experience, and I am a fit to the job role what you're looking for. So I think these are the four highlights from my end, at least the top ones where we would want the candidates to be having it in their resume.
Yeah,
I hope
thanks.
I've answered it.
Yes. Kingsley, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so especially, whenever you look at prospective CVs or resumes, what happens is primarily looking at a resume is like looking at a marriage alliance also, right? So you see lot of profiles which keep coming in, but you will only select the ones which suit your eye, right? Like my fellow panelist said, I mean, it has to be really in proper order and all those things as such. But the spelling mistakes too. I mean, they're the biggest of the leaders also sometimes do not have a proper resume, and the simplest of them make it through the interviews also. You might have a great video resume of something, but the simplest of them goes through. If you are able to articulate, that is more important, right? For me, what's more important is primarily what skills that he comes with, and how is he going to be different from another candidate is a kind of a bifurcation for me. If I need to recruit somebody, if I'm looking at somebody for hiring, I would definitely look at somebody with that passion, that adaptability, with respect to situations. Maybe whenever you talk to them, in the interviews as well, right? You will be able to understand whether this guy can adapt to very tough situations or no. And learnability is something that is more important. Even if the best of the lot, I think there should always be a learning quotient in them as well. And also primarily someone who's that never give up kind of a approach primarily to things. So these are some things that is for hiring, but in terms of a resume, it primarily needs to have, you should not have too many colors in a resume, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you will have multicolor, this color, that color, whatever, right? I mean, it completely spoils that off. And maybe one or two colors is more than enough, but maybe some would want to do it very colorful. That's up to them at their own risk. and spellings is something that needs to be looked at. I just had a hilarious situation where two friends came for an interview. They forgot to change their father's name, so it reflected the same. So so that shouldn't happen. All right. So these are certain things which needs to be taken care primarily in a resume if you're looking at. But if I'm looking at for skills and if I want to hire somebody, I would look at all the things that is adaptability, passion, and someone who's willing to learn. Thank
Sure,
you.
sure. Thank you. Well said, Kingsley. Definitely, passion come first for me anytime, then skills and other things. And again, if you're copying, be smart not to copy the father's name, like
Yeah,
your
yeah,
friends
yeah.
or.
I mean, you can train them, right, for their skills, right? But you cannot train them on the passion and the integrity levels that they have. I mean, that's something that's very different. That doesn't come in the CV, but yeah, that's something that has to be looked out,
Sure,
right?
sure. Great. So we are moving to our next question. So, which is like, how can a job seeker effectively tailor their resume to different industry or different role? And this question I would like to ask Sir Mister and Nadim. Anyone can go first. Uh, 1 second, Sir Mister. I think.
Sharmista, ladies first.
Okay,
You are on
I'm
mute.
so sorry. I was talking on mute. I'm so sorry for that. Yeah, fine. So yeah, I'll take this. I'll go first for this. So yeah, it's very 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 important to research about the industry, about the job role for which you are applying. Where like people don't do it. Like they have made a CV, they just go for that CV for any kind of role or opportunity that comes ahead of them, right? So that is very very important that you do a very like a deep dive understanding about the company, about the industry for which you are applying to. Second point which I'll emphasize, that if you have taken any training or any certification which is very specific to the role or to the industry, please do highlight it. So it shouldn't be like, I would always recommend to have a functional resume rather than just having like what I'll say, the experience wise resume, like first year I have worked over here. So when I say functional resume, it should be talking about what are your achievements, where like which are the projects that you have done, what you want to emphasize. If you are passionate about anything, if you have done good in some projects or something, then talk about those projects first rather than going with the experience wise resume, right? Third thing which I would like to highlight, like if you are applying for the industry, then just go and rearrange the work experience, right? So whichever work experience is relevant to that particular profile, talk about it more on your resume, because that is the first interface that the recruiter or your hiring manager has before he or she meets you first, right? So you need to be very well be presentable on your resume, right? So you need to be talking about, before you speak, your resume should be talking about what are your achievements, what you have done, the work which is very very related to the role, to the company, to the industry. Do you understand the industry? Have you put all the relevant keywords which is required to be there on the resume to catch the attention of the recruiter, right? So these are the particular things. And yes, might be you can just also highlight what are the education which is very relevant to the industry, or some project or some training or some internship that you must have taken in your career about the particular industry. Might be you can just highlight on your resume when you are doing it.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Nadim, what about you?
Hey, thanks, Sharmista. You covered up most of the points what I was about to speak, but nevertheless. So I personally feel resume is the face of any candidate who is attending the interview, right? So we always say face is the index of mind. So resume is just an interface, but the recruiter or the hiring manager is reading your mind, what is in it. So please don't make a resume with 5 pages, 6 pages. Nobody has time. Okay, so let's keep those things aside. Make your resume just 1 page or maximum go to 2 pages. Don't go beyond 2 pages. I have seen a resume of a senior delivery head or a global delivery head, or including mine, it has not crossed 1.5 page. Okay, irrespective of whatever you do, because let us not forget, when you are sitting in front of a interviewer or whoever it is, you are selling yourself, right? So interview is all about sales, and
Yes.
each aspect what you write, you need to substantiate why you have written that. and what value have you brought into the organization, and how impactful was your role. These things are extremely important. Don't use jargons, don't use unnecessary words, don't try to manipulate or don't try to fool the person at the other end. Always let's remember the person who is taking an interview is more intelligent than you. Don't try to be over smart. Okay, stick on to the basics, talk relevant. Whatever you have written in the resume, please have an artifacts or proofs of it, just so that you can go back and correlate, and kindly have stories attached to it, right? So the story should be impactful. So the story, whatever you talk or whatever you said, it should have three conversation involved in it, right? It should have three parameters. One is how effectively you have saved the time and cost of the organization, right? Either time or cost, both are interdependent, right? So it's a reciprocal of each other. So yeah, have you brought in any cost saving measures or a time saving measure? Please have a relevant story with an outcome which is result oriented, and ensure that whatever work you have done, it is quality oriented, right? So nobody wants to compromise on quality irrespective of cost or time. So please make sure that you have generated quality to the organization in a timely manner which is cost effective. So whatever you write in the resume, please give a due and high importance to these factors, and make sure that you talk with lot of honesty, first of all, truthfulness, and make sure that you are extremely passionate about it. If you are truthful, you don't have to search for lies, right? And the sad part is, if you tell one lie, you need to continuously tell multiple lies, and the biggest mistake everybody does is they forget the first lie what they told, right? So they try to cover it up, finally everything get goofed up, right? Let's not do that. Let's be very honest and truthful to yourself, and finally you are selling yourself. You are just one shortlist away from being hired, and make sure that you do really well, right? So you give your 100% with lot of truthfulness, being honest, and be passionate about the work what you have done. And this is a chance you are taking for the first time, and make sure that you are going to crack it, right? So that's what I want to say right now.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Nadim. I would definitely agree with like not more than 1 or 2 page plus a good story is definitely helpful. Okay, moving to our next question, right? In your experience, what are some of the common mistakes the job seekers should avoid? This question I would ask Rini and Kiran, whoever want to go first.
Probably I'll go first. Yeah. So, in my experience, like the most common mistakes are the
You want to
formatting,
go, Rini?
the
Go
gen- generic resumes, where they just apply for the same resume for all the jobs, and they wouldn't even tailor the resume, which the same resume which we floated to all the job descriptions, and they wouldn't even look out the job descriptions, and more of lacking quantifiable achievements and poor formatting. And as Nadeem said, like the resumes were too lengthy. So for sure, based on all these things, like I think these are the common, biggest mistakes what most of the candidates would do it. But however, like in case if they are pretty much, using that in terms of false information, just like other one of our fellow panelists has said, like they use the other information, they just edit it. So the minute we download it, that's how we actually figure it out, if they have edited the resume or not. So just be vulnerable and well structured resume. So the resume shouldn't be always a bio data. So it has to actually focus on your achievements, what exactly you are doing it. So the basic thing is like time, quality, money. If these three pointers are being pretty much able to deliver over the resume, I think the person would pretty much get into the next stage of the process. Over to you.
Agree. Agree. Thanks, Rini. Kiran, what's your thought?
All right. Yeah, I think as we rightly said, and so as other fellow panelists covered, that there are certain thumb rules that a job seeker should keep in mind. One, as I said in the beginning, that there is no formula of writing an impactful resume. All that we need to try is how do we make an impact at the recruitment team by preparing a well-versed resume that flies well in the initial screening, because recruiters doesn't have so much of time to screen each resume. And to be brutally honest, I'm sure majority of the fellow panelists will agree that recruiters sometimes handle huge volume, and in that volume game, they might spend maybe hardly a minute on a resume screening, and the first impression has to be a best impression. So a job seeker has to ensure that the resume is very impactful. They've got their work experience covered well. They're not copy pasting errors happening in it, as Nadim said. I mean, you cannot copy everything and anything. And I've also experienced multiple times that when I'm poaching a couple of folks from a similar company, I see that except their contact information, the rest of the resume is as it is. So we don't know whom we are presenting to the hiring manager. So it cannot be as it is. You have to have your own ideology and your own approach in building your resume. And your first impression, how do you create it? Recruiters' eyes is very important. You have to catch that attention, and you have to ensure that resume is not lengthy. I have seen a resume which is of about 15 pages, and I still remember that was a nightmare of selling that resume to my hiring manager. And there was a discussion that is it a essay writing competition or what? So, I mean, we do have our own challenges at recruitment standpoint. We do face a lot of challenges when the candidate might be a great talented in terms of the skills that they have, but at the same time, the resume is not so impactful that we cannot sell it at the hiring managers. And there are certain hiring managers who take it very seriously when they see spelling mistakes of certain technologies. You have to ensure that the grammar is good, you're articulating well, and the resume should comprise maximum of 3 pages, as Nadim and the other folks said. It cannot go beyond 2 pages or maximum three. So you should restrict. You should ensure that you're creating that impact. So to close, I think you need to ensure you're not doing any grammatical errors, no copy paste errors, and you should ensure that how does a recruiter find you best within a minute. So it's like any other competitive exam. So you have to beat in the first impression.
Thank you, Kiran. I definitely agree with all the points you and Rini have
Yeah.
mentioned. Uh, just with interest of time, I'm moving to the next question, right? So, how important is the use of keywords and buzzwords in the resume? How can job seekers identify and incorporate them effectively? And this question I would like to ask Achal and Swarupa.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So this is a great question to say, Prafula, because definitely we need to look upon like what kind of exact keywords and the buzzwords we are actually adding to our resume to say. So here we really need to add like a lot of action words to our resume, because we cannot just add like our duties or the responsibilities what we are doing for the role. So we really need to see into the candidate or anyone's resume that what exactly they have done or what are their key contributions towards the role. So so adding these action words, for example, like designed, developed, implemented, or have come up with some any kind of like ownership or initiative. So these kind of things will be really helpful for anyone to understand like what they have created the impact into the role. And also towards the keywords, like they really need to look upon like what the job description talk about and what it is really in need of the role. So we really need to tailor the resume in such a way that okay, in so and so project or so and so role, like what kind of impact they have created, and they have to craft those keywords which is relevant to their experience as well. So these are all the two factors which are really important, and that's how like right now the resumes are trending in such a way that everyone used to look for those action words, like what exactly the key contributions the person have done.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Can I add to this, Prafulayan,
sure,
before
sure.
you
Please,
spoke,
please go
came
ahead.
on to this? All right. So I think buzzwords, now we are in the Gen Z generation, so everything is all about, getting these words which, like looking up the words which are quick for us to find. And as recruiters, as one of my fellow panelists mentioned, that we have very little time to look at the resume, so we sometimes really look at the highlighted buzzwords and then move forward. But I would like to also highlight one other thing when it comes to buzzword is that, for a lot of audience over here, you have to know what we're trying to do over here. As recruiters, many times we use certain words or certain, important words that we think should be there in the resume, and we search the resume based on that. Especially when we do a LinkedIn search, what happens is we search people based on their designation. So, how clearly you have mentioned your designation in your LinkedIn is how you will also get approached. For example, if I'm looking for a business analyst, and if you mentioned the designation as consultant or something very vague, then it becomes very difficult for a recruiter to reach out to you. So going on to the granular level of how a recruiter really uses the buzzwords, it's important because we are also using some kind of tool, and someone is asking about ATS. We are also using ATS. So these words, if they're clearly mentioned, then it is easier for your resume to show up for us. So I would think that having buzzwords, keeping it short and sweet is important, and especially your designation. Try to make sure that you keep your designation clear and it is more industry specific.
Totally
Thank you.
agree. Uh, uh, Again, like these days with Gen Z and Alpha and all those folks, these keywords and buzzwords are quite different and quite
Yeah.
unique to understand as well, right? What these
Yes.
people talk about. And to keep up with them, we have to keep learning new words, new titles, and whatever, whatnot. Great.
Correct.
So moving to the next question. Uh, so with the rise of remote work and digital recruitment, how has the format or structure of resumes evolved? And this question I would like to ask Anusha and Rakesh.
Sure. Thank you, Praful. So, Rakesh, I'll go first. So, I believe what all we have been talking so far, all of those questions are some or the other way interrelevant, and our answers or responses are also interrelevant, right? So, having said that, I think the candidates these days are, be it Gen Z or the laterals, they're very well versed with how the automated ATSs are working, how their profiles get filtered. So they have already started initiating concising their resumes, tailoring them as per the need of the ATS, right? And so that their resumes can parse through, and their profiles are well scored as per the fit score ratios. The AI is generating, right? Most of us use AI generated ATSs, which gives the resumes a scoring levels like A, B, C, D grades or 1, 2, 3 levels for us to, filter out the best resumes from the thousands of applicants we have, right? That is one way. And people have concised it to a level that they start putting up their skills highlighted. Their summary is very concise and crisp, that speaks about their experience. And these days people even started putting up quantifiable results in a separate space where they're depicting their accomplishments, and their qualifications are being uh, they're showcasing it very well. They're selling their resumes very well. The resume speaks so much, but I think it's end of the day the recruiters have to screen through those. We cannot totally rely on them, and you know only when you talk to them you will get to know what is the cream from it, right? So all I can say is the keywords are being very specifically given. They're doing their skill part and summaries really well, and they're also putting up their resumes with LinkedIn profiles, the work they've done, any sort of GitHubs and any coding things that they've brought in page. And yeah, that's all.
Sure, sure.
I
Thanks, Anusha. Rakesh, what's your
Yes,
thought?
I think to add on to what Anusha mentioned, so my observation is exclusively post-pandemic, with a change in the interview process from in-person to virtual. I've observed people now started moving from shorter, longer, like 10-page, 5-page resume to a crisp and shorter resume, which also comes with a lot of visualizations on resume. And there are a bunch of new resume builder sites that came up in the last 2 to 3 years, who also enables the job seeker to create resumes. So basically, few portals are free, few are paid, and these are actually enabled by AI. So AI is going to definitely be a huge plus in creating more structured and crisp job resumes. I think one very important point what I would like to call out is humans are going to give a human recruiters basically are going to give a tough competition to AI. But the fact being, most of the AI tools, I mean, if you see, ATS are actually getting integrated with AI nowadays, right? And all the AI, what it does is it actually captures the keywords. While if you look at the other side of the world, the recruiters who are humans, we actually go through the each and every line of a resume. So that is where I think we are going to create more value add, where AI cannot do that.
Totally agree. Great answer, Rakesh. Okay. So talking to the next question, right? What role does networking play in complementing a strong resume, and how can job seeker leverage their networks effectively? And this question I would like to ask Shravani and Kingsley.
Should I go first?
Please go ahead.
No problem.
No? Thank you. So I guess networking as a term is not only applicable to the candidates, it is applicable to all of us, irrespective of the profession we are in. But since we're talking about the candidates right now, it is very important because you will have to be there, out there, to ensure that you are updated about every changes which happens, which is relevant to your job, which is relevant to your profile. So I think candidates should be very, very active in social media, be it LinkedIn or any such relevant platforms. Joining groups or associations, we have a lot of groups of late where we have fellow industry professionals, so that we see eventually what we talk about when we say networking, it's relationship building. So being there with and connecting with these folks will definitely help us build relationship. There are a lot of events also, if we see job fairs or any such discussions where these candidates should be a part of, because eventually through these events or job fairs or any such roundtable discussions, we learn a lot, like this is right now. When we say about relationship building, it is very important that how do you build a relationship? Now when you seek and help from somebody, you should always be also available for them to help them or give them right piece of information if they want that. That's how we build a relationship, right? So eventually if you do so, and now one very important point is, while the candidates attend the interviews, they just attend the interview and then they are not really keen in knowing about the panel, or they do not ask the suggestions from the panels that, okay, how has been my interview and what is that I have to improve on. So talking to the panel a bit different of the topic of the interviews, knowing about them actually helps them a lot to decide how they can shape their career, what are decisions they can make in near future. And lastly, with all these, I think if you do so, recommendations and referrals are the best way. Eventually, we are benefited out of this, right? Recommendations are the ones in the circle. The world is so huge, right? And networking and ensuring that you are out there up to date would eventually help you grow in career. So yeah, that's the point from my end.
Interesting. Kingsley, what's your thought? 1 second, I think you are on mute.
I'm sorry. All right. So networking definitely plays a very major role. I mean, in a candidate's look out for a job as such. Primarily, most of the jobs that you have. I mean, there's always a very simple tool called Easy Apply, right? I mean, on LinkedIn, right? We all would have clicked somewhere or the other, but we've not got a job, right? because we've never networked with those people in those companies or whatever. But it's so easy. I mean, we do that, but we don't get it, and we feel dejected that we've applied for so many and we didn't get that. It's always important that you're networking not for the job, for the current moment or the current thing, but you're doing it for the future. You can be an active job seeker, but you have to be sometimes passive in terms of ensuring that you build good relationships, right? There are conferences where you attend, right? So what happens is, all of my fellow panelists also would have got, any candidate or anyone gets into a conference and he meets a lot of leaders, a lot of people, and what he does is he will put everybody into and sends the resume to all. We would have all got that part of, so we will see all different companies, HR people on the email. So it is like sasriya kal and copy to all, right? So it's like that, it goes off. But what I would say is, whenever you're making a profile, right, LinkedIn is one best place where you can actually look at surveying your profile with the others, right? Say one of our fellow panelists said, I mean, maybe your content analyst or a marketing person, right? So how better can you look at, I mean, the similar ones, in the same industry or in the same years of experience. You can make your profile always better. You don't need to look at, I mean, there's one company which always says that shamelessly copy from another, right? So obviously, I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, you're only doing, what you're doing is ensuring that you're creating you're putting your best face or foot forward, right? I mean, that's nothing wrong in doing that. Conferences always definitely helps in terms of getting the right amount of people. And also companies look at candidates who come with a very good reference, right? I mean, nowadays that's what is going on. And how you get a good reference is through the industry and people. So background reference is different, but candidates always companies always look at candidates who come with a good work ethic. The integrity part is very high, those kind of things. So this is very important. And primarily what happens is, looking at networking, it always ensures that you get access to some hidden opportunities, right? You might not be just looking out for a job, but sometime on the way you get something. And also it also gives you uh, 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 a part where you look at building a longer relationship with that person, right? So it's not just about a job, it's all about knowledge sharing and gaining as well.
Sure. Thank you. Interesting. Definitely. Most of once we grow, like networking play a very crucial role in finding and getting jobs, right? Not only ourselves but our network people as well, right? Great. So moving to our next question, and this question is for Sarmista and Nadeem. How do you recommend addressing employment gaps and career changing in a resume?
Yeah. So career gap in the career, we face multiple candidates who come with a gap in their career, right? So what I would recommend is that be honest and be transparent. Okay, so and you should be prepared, like you should be able to talk about the gap in a positive manner. We understand, like we are dealing in human resource industry. We do understand people take sabbaticals, people take the gap for higher studies, for marriages. There are some juncture in your life that you need to focus on some other thing rather than your job. So people do understand, companies do understand. So there is nothing to hide about it. So you can talk, but be prepared with the answers. It shouldn't happen that you are giving some response, as one of my fellow panelists told, that don't lie, be honest whatever the thing is, because one lie will lead to another lie. I think Nadeem told only the examples, and then you forget like what is the first lie that you told. So I would always say, okay, be transparent, be like be prepared with the answer that why you had taken this gap. Then I would again emphasize on preparing a functional resume, which I talked in my last topic. So here I would always recommend, when you are preparing your resume, emphasize on your skill and accomplishment that you have made, rather than just focusing on preparing a resume which is just a chronological work history of yours. talk about the achievements, talk about the trainings, or talk about the certifications that you have done, which should be talking. Like, we have a very less attention span when we go through the resume. So it's like initial 30 seconds, you look at the resume, you make up your mind that whether this person would be suitable for the required job or not. So in that job, if my resume is not talking about that, yes, I am the right person for this particular job, then it's very much possible that the recruiter will skip the required information and may leave your resume, may not respond to it. Right. So my recommendation will be on three things: be honest, be transparent. Second will be like, talk about the gaps positively, and prepare a more functional driven resume rather than a chronological resume.
Thanks, Mr. Nadim. What's your thought?
Okay, so there are two types of resumes. One resume is for a fresher. Obviously, you have to make a resume. The other resume is for an experienced folks. My personal belief, you don't have to prepare a resume for a experienced people, because every day out, your LinkedIn itself is talking a lot about you. So if you ask me, every week I update my LinkedIn, right? So I am doing some or other HR conclave or some talk or something, right? So you go update the work what you do, or you update the video, you update the photograph. So it is continuously getting updated. So once it get updated, the people who are in my who are in my network, they are seeing what I'm doing. So automatically there is a choice that has been given to them to pick me whether I am the right person or to leave me if I'm not right, right? So we are making things public, we are making things open for everybody, showcasing our talent, showcasing our efforts. As I said earlier, and this has been repeated with all my other colleagues also, and they firmly believe as well: stay honest, stay transparent, stay truthful, right? Nothing to hide. Nobody is going to slot, nobody is going to cut your throat, right? So it's just a job opportunity. If not here, somewhere else, right? So don't get so scared about it, right? So there is no organization is perfect, right? So you need to be perfect to make sure that organization comes to you, right? So stay confident about what you do, and gaps are inevitable, right? Anybody can have gap for any reason, right? So you can't hide that. But again, let's be truthful, let's have an artifact, give a proper reason why you have a gap, and what is the reason of you having a gap and how you came back, right? So if you have a compelling story to address the gap, I'm sure the person at the other end also understands. And let us also not forget, the person who is interviewing will also have multiple gaps in their profile, right? So they do understand, they have gone through that stage, they also acknowledge whatever you are doing. As long as you are bringing value to the role, you are bringing value to the organization. What is organization is looking for? Is it something that you are compassionate and you are confident to deliver? You are the right person, right? So rest all the things is a history. Let's not talk too much about it. Let's stay confident, let's stay truthful, be humble, right? So to show, be mature enough to showcase the right talent and right skill, and give a proper reason why you have a gap, and why, what is that you have done to overcome the gap, and how successful you are in the current role, right? So
Sure.
be a employer of choice, okay, not an employer of chance. Don't look for a chance, go for a choice. If you're a choice, you are the best one to be picked, right? So show that confidence. I think everything is there, right? So it's written on the wall, so you are the best for the role.
Sure. Interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Nadim. So, moving to our next question. In the age of applicant tracking system, AKS, what strategy can job seeker use to ensure their resume get passed in the initial screening process? And this question I would like to ask Kiran and Rini. Uh, Rini, would you like to go
Yeah.
first?
Yes. Great question, Praful, because this is very crucial, in this era of resumes getting passing to this initial screening process. So probably the first thing is, as we all discussed, like it's more would be keyword optimization, and include relevant job titles. When I say relevant job titles, we make sure like we follow the chronological order, not in the functional way of it. So let's talk about the recent kind of experience. And if I have to take two examples, probably let's talk about experienced versus fresher from Nadim's conversation. So experienced folks, they say like, hey, I'm working. Let's assume we are hiring for designers, and like you just mentioned the objective and everything, but where exactly can I see a portfolio? I mean, until unless again, we don't see it. I mean, just mention those achievements. Likewise, for like, let's assume we are hiring for In case if you're looking for technology guys, mention you're a hacker or the links, but what is the contribution you are making it? What is the role you are applying for? What is that? What is the problem statement? That company, whatever you applied for, versus you mentioning in your resume. So these all things would actually, especially when we are looking for experienced folks, they mention all the lead code, everything, but few doesn't have any contributions. It doesn't have any kind of impact. Likewise for freshers, it would have to. So maybe freshers wouldn't have more of projects, but at least let's assume if they are being part of campus ambassador program, so they can actually highlight. And down the line they wanted to be contributing towards like design teams, or they might be interested in the back end. So they have to actually available in the groups. Like now, like we are in the AI generation, there are a lot many AI tools. Just upload your CV according to the JD. It's your CV would be tailored for. And likewise, what are the the conventions you're using? We see like more of the CVs also, right? Masculine and feminine. I'm not sure if so. What is it like the gender diversity? So all these factors would actually put together, and that's how the initial phase would be there. And apart from this, probably networking again, that's a great pointer. If you're like ready, you have some dream company, get connected with them. Just highlight like what exactly you're working on. That's a key factor. Like if you send me like 10 paragraphs, hey, this is what I'm doing it, we are humans, right? So end of the day, like what is that one liner of impression, the objective statement? And make use of the AI. I mean, that's what I would advise to all the audience. Over
Thank
to you,
you,
Kiran.
Kiran.
I think, yeah, thanks, Rini. I think you have covered some beautiful points. And just to add, as she said, every applicant tracking system now has an AI inbuilt, and the resume parsing has become more effective. So every job seeker should ensure that they are spending some quality time before they submit and upload their resumes. Ensure that you're you're highlighting your top and key skills that highlights your experience. And at the same time, one advice I would like to add is always try to use a Word format instead of a PDF format. That has a little better effective upload in the ATS, because it has more effective chances of getting that parsed, your information getting catching up right top skills. And at the same time, try avoiding any graphical and infographics in your resume while especially uploading in any of the ATS tools, because recruiters will, again, as I said, when a recruiter is handling volume, they would want all of those top candidates on the first page, or the first sheet when we download the Excel. So ensure that you don't follow use a lot of graphics and infographics in your resume. Try use the Word format mostly, and then ensure the length of the resume is right, and you've got all the top skills highlighted, work in your resume, work experience. Spend some quality time before you upload the resume.
Great answer. Uh, so
Yeah,
we are moving
over to
to
you,
our
Prafula.
next. So, what advice do you have for recent graduates or entry-level job seekers who have limited professional experience to showcase on their resume? And this question is for Achal and Swarupa.
Yes. Yeah,
Hi.
Praful, I can go
I
ahead.
can probably go ahead with this. Um, so, Praful, this is the question very close to my heart, because I have really spent a lot of time with the campus recruitment, and some of the challenges that I have seen when with resumes especially is that we receive resumes with improper information, because I think most of the campus recruits get their resumes done. I mean, they use a certain format which is given by their colleges. So as a result of it, many a times what happens, we are struggling to even get in touch with them, because their contact details and such basic things are not really mentioned. So I would request all these freshers to have a proper resume which has their contact details so that we're not, struggling, moving around and reaching out to their placement officers and so on to just find information. Secondly, I would say that, I have also noticed that a lot of the fresh graduates, they do not mention the percentage, because that's the most important thing in your resume. Your 10th, 12th, and your engineering percentage should be mentioned. And most of the time, the percentage is not mentioned, neither your year of passing is mentioned. So these are very basic things that I'm calling out, which again, we are going back and forth trying to figure this out. And sometimes in the process, we have, even lost.
And then taking Shruti on a call.
The third and most important thing is all these students go through some amount of internship, as in they kind of go through some kind of internship that they kind of do, and they have to mention about that little more in detail in their resume, because sometimes that becomes a parameter to hire them, or to even consider their resume forward. Suppose if we are hiring for a Python team which is looking for Python, and if they have done some kind of training, or if they've done some kind of a project, then they're a quick uh, uh, their resume is quickly moved into the next round. So these are the three important things that I see they fail when it comes to the resume writing itself. So this is my message. Yeah.
Sure, Rupa.
Yeah, thank you, Achal, for bringing this up. So I have like a couple of points to add on to Achal. So as she rightly called out, like one is like contact information, that too also comprises of like email, because I have also a lot of times seen like the emails used to be like very funky, or something which is like not official part of it. So they can definitely come up with a professional kind of email which is really needed. And next thing, like as Achal rightly called out on the internships or any kind of courses or certifications, or even like any kind of like part-time jobs if they have taken up, or any kind of, even I have seen nowadays like a lot of freshers, they have been so much gaining into demandable skills, or getting into the different skills which they are interested for example like data science, or anything towards designing or development part of it. So whatever work they have done, they can definitely put it in a right way, so that recruiters can definitely look into it, and they can definitely get a chance to check on like, okay, where their interest lies and how much they are putting their efforts to grow themselves. So it is all about like putting in a right information, whatever they have done, even if they have done any kind of like voluntary work or anything for that sake. So these things are really important. Yeah.
Thank you, Surupa. With the interest of time, we are moving to our last question, and this question is for Anusha and Rakesh. How important is the inclusion of measurable achievements or quantifiable results on resume, and how can a job seekers effectively incorporate them? Anusha, Rakesh?
Yeah, I can go first. So I think it's very important for a job seeker to actually speak more from a data standpoint, rather than just being verbose, writing like 10 lines, 12 lines of roles and responsibilities. Nowadays, I think all the hiring managers and recruiters are really peeping in the resume to see what's the impact they are created. And I feel impact can really be spoken by numbers. And just to give an example, right, most of the leadership roles, someone who's a good leader will really talk about like what kind of conversions they made, what percentages of budgets they saved, or the kind of revenue they turned over a period of time. And that's all is only spoken by numbers. And that is what we really talk about, the achievement, which is really measurable. And I think it's very important for someone to, if they want to really stand out from a pool of people, it's very important for them to really talk on the data.
Great.
Sure. So, as Rakesh rightly said, to just add a few more points to it. So I believe quantifiable data again speaks in different volumes, right? If somebody is writing, I've got 4 times pat on the back, or rewards and recognition, that is not quantifiable, and that is not something that can be considered. So quantifiable should always make speak in terms of volume, or what impact did they create to the organization or within the team. Per se, they can say, you know they have done, they've reduced 15% of the project timeline, and they've finished the project within 2 weeks, by following certain strategy, right? It can be a team collaborative effort. It can always be a quantifiable soft skill as well. They can be very good team collaborators who can reduce the project timeline. Likewise, they can also always speak about quantifiable results, like, let us say they have given a very good customer success, right? They've created a very good customer experience by reducing the timeline of 15% on their deliverables, or let us say on bringing the project go live, right? So that's all. I think I'm good. I all I'm trying to see is how can I not add the same points what everybody has already spoken. So I'm just saying.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Anusha. So, moving to the next part of this session. So, we have rapid fire questions for our panelists. Just a second. So, we have certain question designed for our panelists to make this little bit interesting and funny, so that we are not just talking about like normal resume writing. We also wanted to have some kind of fun in this Friday evening, right? So starting with our first question, right? If you could hire any fictional character, who would be and why? Whom you would want to hire? Anyone can answer this.
I
James
would
Bond.
say
Can I go from Harry Potter series?
Ravan, who has 10 heads and who can do, I mean, that's what our hiring managers want. Someone who can do 10 jobs at a time. So I would think Ravan is what comes to my mind. Yeah.
And he has lots of knowledge as well, right?
Yeah. So our hiring manager will be the most happiest.
Okay. Anyone want to answer anything else?
I feel James Bond. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because James
Yeah.
Bond is James Bond, right? So you go create a havoc and make sure that everybody gets attracted towards you and they listens to you and they follow you, right? So Bond is the best.
Yeah. And in
I
our
would
uh,
watch it.
audience, someone have mentioned as Tony Stark.
Tony.
Okay. Moving to the next question. What is the most unreal job title you have encountered while recruiting?
Chief Happiness Officer.
Okay.
It's for
Anyone
employee
else?
engagement.
I have one more. Somebody has shared a resume. Hire me if you can.
Yeah.
Right? Challenging the person at the other end. Very, very
Yeah.
weird and very funny. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely believe you have fired that person, right?
No, we didn't. We just ignored it. Yeah.
Okay. So next question is, what is the best part or benefit you have seen a company offer to attract top talent?
Unpaid PTO. Paid PTO.
Paid PTO.
Work from home is the best benefit that I've seen.
I agree.
Even like
Work
vacation leaves, paid vacation leaves.
Same time offs. Yeah.
or anything to do with uh, health and wellness, gym membership. I think a lot of people are very rough about that.
Yeah, even
Okay.
one more thing I can come up with, like employee assistance, which has been like really, really helpful. I can say, if anyone has to talk for any kind of assistance, like emotional, financial, or whatever kind of, so that is also one of the best things.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And there are a
Okay.
couple more which I think are
So,
companies
Prafula,
providing
I've
BS.
encountered a funny question while I was working in. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Rakesh, go ahead.
Oh, okay, thank you. So I think there's a bit of network lag
Rakesh, you
from
can
my
go
end.
ahead.
So yeah, so BS at work, and I think one more thing is what I've seen companies providing flexibility to reimburse anything and everything, but of course that comes at a higher cost cap. So I think these two things are the picks from my end.
Yeah. Kiran, what about you?
So yeah, Prafula. So I was saying, I have hired a candidate who has got about 18 cars with him, right? And my first question was, why do you need so many cars? I need 4 or 5 parking slots. In DLF, I was back then. We had a lot of space constraint, and we cannot accommodate one. And he was asking for 5. So I wish we could have had a small ground leased for his cars.
I think Kiran, we can call it boom cars and start a new venture maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Moving to our next
Back then
question.
it was not there, and he's got cars from right from Nano to a Merc. And my first question was, why do you need a job?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Moving to our next question is describe your ideal candidate in 3 words. Ideal candidates in 3 words.
I think adaptable, someone who wants to learn.
Kingsley, you want to share something?
Smart, adaptable, and what I mean, high on integrity.
Okay.
So I have
Nadim?
three C's. I have three
Okay.
C's:
Yeah,
confident,
I think one
commitment,
has to be
consistent.
passionate.
Three C's.
Okay. Okay. Swarupa, Sarmista.
Go ahead, Adi.
Yeah, so I will be looking at like innovative, be a problem solver, and collaborative.
Okay. Shravani, anything in your mind?
I think presentation skills, flexibility, and how well is the person able to articulate.
Okay. Okay. So, with the interest of time, last rapid fire question is what is the widest interview questions you have ever heard or you have asked anyone?
I can say I have asked, never heard so, but we all must have been hearing this question, which panels ask a lot of times: is why should I hire you? I ask the candidates, tell me few reasons through which I can reject you. So these questions are always there when I interview the candidates, and this I have actually picked up from one of the panels. So I think this is a little weird, but it actually helps a lot because we want people also to be honest.
Yes, yes, yes. Great. This is interesting. I would love to have more fire question, but since we are almost on time, I would also wanted to have few questions which our audience have asked. So one of the audience have asked, what best can we do to make our resume stand out? Anyone can answer this.
Yeah, don't talk too much about what you have not done. Okay, talk what exactly you have done. And again, keep your resume concise. Don't make it too elaborative. As I said in the first stage, make it one page or
And
one and a half page, maximum 2 page. And stay humble, honest, and truthful. Right? Don't tell lies. Again, you can't cover up the first lie if you don't hide the first one. So that's
Sure,
that's more
sure.
important.
Can I
Thanks.
can I add something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please.
So I there was a point where we were discussing about the gaps in the resume. I would like to call out one important part. See, we can all have gaps, and that there can be nobody who has a career without gaps. But what is very important is when you go back to to the industry, and when you go back, you have to go prepared. So that's where I think a lot of candidates lack. They do not prepare themselves, or they don't upskill themselves to the current technology and current ways and modus operandi of work. So that's where a lot of people fail. So I think along with your resume, you have to also upskill yourself. My suggestion is you write down all your achievements and write down all that you can talk in the interview. That will really help you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Prof.
Thank you, Achal. Okay. Moving to our next question. We are hearing many things about nowadays about ATS. Can you please help us to know how it actually works?
So I can
Can I
actually answer
answer?
that. So basically, a lot of people nowadays, I think the common observation is that a lot of people are sending their resumes in a Word document where there are few ATS where the resume will not be clearly captured. So the best way is like always send your resumes in PDF. One important point. Second, don't try to customize and beautify. So recruiters or the hiring managers doesn't really need a fancy resume. All we need is a single page or 2 pages max, good data, crisp, and which actually speaks about you as a person. So try to be crisp on that and just send us a simple resume. I think that's all we look at. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
rightly, Rakesh just mentioned. So we really need to follow a simple layout or a simple format with a standardized fonts and everything. There need not to be like a lot of infographic or a lot of images or tables which need to be put up until and unless it is asked for, because there are certain roles where those kind of things need to be there. For example, like graphic designer, illustrator, or a UI UX designer kind of role. So unless and until it is asked for, we really need to keep it simple, format, layout, and the standardized fonts. It's as simple as that.
Just to add to that, if we talk about Indian regular format, right? It's just summary, experience, employment, and your native details. That's all. You have nothing more to cover. The rest all, whatever skills, certifications, whatever we're adding are all sidelined. So yeah. So basically, it is clear titles with bulletins about what your main focus skills are is something that can help the resume pass through the ATS for us to at least even consider in the first place. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Anyone
Also, I
want to?
think the keywords plays a major role because ATS are built that way that they match the keywords. And like we have been talking since the beginning of this discussion, ensuring those keywords to be right on place would help them getting their resume passed.
Sure.
Yeah, adding on to this, apart from the keywords, like the achievements again. In case if you're mentioning Java, what exactly you did in that Java? Like either you did a certification or what is a contribution you made in the particular community. In case if you're part of XYZ community, just mention all those things. So that would actually, these days most of the recruiters, apart from the keywords, they would be looking onto it.
Great. So the last question from our audience, just curious, which AI tool are most popular with the recruiters? Anyone would like to answer this?
So there's nothing called as AI tool. Probably we use a lot of Chrome extensions to probably
I
extract
think
your
for
contact
a
details.
recruitment standpoint,
I don't know if my network is bad.
Rakesh, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I was adding the
Okay.
same. I
Am
think
I actually
ATS
delayed
comes with
or
AI.
is my network bad?
Rakesh, you can go ahead. Then Kiran can cover.
Sure. Yeah. So I think so. There's no AI
No, we
tool
can
as
hear
such,
you,
but we use
Rakesh.
a
Go
lot of
ahead.
automation tools as such to write us searches and extract your candidate email IDs, or probably extract the data as well. So we use a lot of automation tools as such. And to call me, I mean, my favorite tool has been Hatchall, and to pull out the data we use. There's a data extraction tool which we use as well. Yeah.
Kiran, you want to add?
Yeah, just to add, for recruiters, ATS itself is like a similar AI tool, Karan, and all that you need to ensure is to create a impactful resume, rightly formatted, no errors and all. I think that helps recruiters move forward that CV. Yeah, you can take up the next one.
Yeah, keywords plays a very important role. You need to add keywords which will really highlight and that stands out for any recruiter to pick the right talent, right? So that's an attractive way of presenting your profile that makes the recruiter life easier, that they are handpicking the right candidate, at least from the screening stage point of view. Anyway, the candidate has to perform and speak and talk a lot about the execution of projects and how he or she stands out to be the best. but at least the keywords give some sort of confidence for the recruiter to pick the right talent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if I could add over here, even our ATS, that is our internal tool, sometimes allows us to do a search based on keywords. For example, if we have like 300 resumes in our organization, we are able to use a tool. I mean, the ATS that we use, we can just put in a keyword and try and see which resumes suit the best. Hence, whatever, suppose you come from a supply chain background, or you're a testing person, make sure that you have mentioned that in the right way in your resume, so that the tool picks it up when we do this kind of a search.
Yeah, I just want to add a couple of things. So, in the ATS, like the ranking system used to be there, like as sometime back, even one of our like panelist was talking about that. So that's the reason, like the keywords are really important, and we really need to tailor along with the job description what it has been mentioned and what kind of role are we applying for. So that is the major reason why it is always called out like keywords are really important. So read out the job description clearly and look out like what exactly it has been asked for, what kind of skills it is being looked for, and we can definitely prepare the resume accordingly. Yeah.
Great. So, with the interest of time, we would like to go ahead and summarize today's discussions. So, in summary, I just wanted to say that this was a very fruitful discussion. I personally have felt, and I definitely believe that all our audience would have loved whatever each one of you have shared about resume writing. So some of the things which we discussed today is about like presentation, how presentable you are writing your resume. Definitely, we talked about passion. We talked about uniqueness. Don't use too many colors. In one of the panelists also mentioned about like researching the roles and responsibilities before applying to any job. And one of the panelists also discussed or mentioned about a resume should be not more than 1 to 2 pages. We also talked about like year gap. So if there is any kind of gap, we should definitely address that. We shouldn't lie anything which we can explain later. We also talked about do not copy your friends or family resume. Be write your own unique resume, and definitely we should be active in social media, different events. Networking plays a very important role in finding jobs as well as to help others as well. And be honest and be transparent, and contact details are definitely important, like email IDs, phone numbers, and those things. So if you are using any format, please make sure that all these details are very uh, are mentioned in your resume. So with this, I would like to thank all our panelists, all our audiences, all our partners, and our admin team to making this event successful. And I encourage everyone to follow, like, and subscribe I am Recruiter across various platforms. And if you like this episode, or if you like our panel discussion, feel free to reach out to our panelists so that we are encouraged to have similar kind of discussion in future. And we as a community definitely want to help each one of you. And with this, I would like to thank each one of you once again for your time and for making this event as successful. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, Prafula.
Thank you,
Thanks,
For
Prafula.
bringing.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Praful. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.